video I'm going to show you how to make a larger peony with more open petals using a polystyrene ball for the middle and just one wire. It will look very similar to the beautiful open peonies that you've seen that actually have lots of wires and lots of petals. They're very beautiful to make, they're quite time consuming. So this is the start of the peony. This is just a slightly quicker version, but you do get really beautiful results. This is one that I made about half an hour ago. I'm going to show you how to get up to this stage, and then we're going to add some more petals to this one. Once it gets to this stage, you do need to leave it to dry for about half an hour. Okay? Right, so to start with, take your 3 centimetre round polystyrene ball and a piece of 24 gauge florist wire. Right, what I'm going to do first is bend the top of the wire, and I'm going to bend it down twice. First I'm going to make a hook, and then I'm going to bend it down again. The reason why is because when I thread this through the polystyrene ball, I don't want it to come out at all because the peony is going to be very heavy on there. So what you do, take your wire, take your ball, go right through the centre of it. Okay, pull this right through and pull it so it actually does disappear a little bit into the polystyrene ball. Okay, something like that. Try and centre it a little bit. You don't want it all off to one side. You want to get it quite centred, otherwise your flower will hang at a funny angle. So now that this is in there, give it a little tug and just make sure that it doesn't go straight through. If it comes straight through out of the end, put it in again, pull it through, because it really needs to be tight on there. Okay, fabulous. Now just put this to one side and the glue. Right, what we're going to do first is, using some florist paste, we're going to make some individual petals to cover the cone. And that's going to be for the centre of the peony, and it just gives it an extra dimension, makes it look more real. So if you roll 3 size balls like this, okay, and these are about the size of a hazelnut or a Malteser. Okay, so just roll 4 of them, sorry, not 3. Right, we're just going to make handmade petals with these. So if you just squish them out into a slight petal shape like this. Okay, and the second one, third one, and the fourth one. Right. And taking our petal veiner, which is fantastic for large petals, smaller petals, I'm going to show you now just how useful this is and how I use it with smaller petals. Take your petal shape, press down hard with your fingers and squish it. Turn it over and do the other side as well. And although you probably think, what's the point of doing that because you get rid of the veins, you actually don't. You have one side that's very deeply veined and the other side that's more subtle. It's exactly what you want for the peony flower. Take the second one, press down really hard, turn it over, press down again. Okay, and again. So all in all, this takes about 2 minutes to do. It's quite quick. Okay, now if you take your polystyrene ball on your wire, cover this completely with edible glue, like so. If the wire's poking out a bit, pull it in a bit more. Okay, and take one of your petals and you want to fold it over the top so it's overlapping about half of your ball, like that. Take another petal, come from the other side and overlap it. And now the third and fourth one, if you glue them halfway down the petal and stick this one on this side, like so, and then this one on the other side, okay, like so. And if you see that what you've got is the centre of the peony, it doesn't matter that this bit underneath is not covered, it doesn't matter at all, because it's all going to be covered up with the subsequent layers. You're not going to see that, that's always going to be buried in the centre. Okay, so just make sure that that's glued, and make sure that when you look down from the top you can't see any of the white ball. It's really important. Right, once you've got to that stage, you can just hang that upside down. So if you have got a flower dryer, they're really useful, they're fantastic. If you don't have one, you need to find something where you can hang your flower upside down. Quite often I use flower dryers, but sometimes I just find that they're not tall enough, and if I've got a flower on a long wire, it drags on the ground. on the table. So basically what I've done here is just using a piece of polystyrene, a cake dummy, 2 long barbecue skewers, 1 across the top, and I've just secured these with sellotape. You can do this as high or as low as you want, but it's absolutely perfect to be able to hang your flower over, and then you can hang lots of different flowers on there. Okay, and it's just quite quick and simple. You could also use a clothes era, whatever you can hang it from. Okay, right, let's put this back to one side. So now, take another piece of florist paste. Right, and we're going to roll this out. And using the all-in-one peony cutter set, we're going to use the medium-sized peony cutter, okay? So not the largest, it's the next one down. So let's roll this out. So press down really firmly and really rotate this backwards and forwards, okay? And it helps to stop any little raggy edges forming on your peony. You can take this and take a flower forming pad. What we're going to do using the veiner again, we're going to vein every single one of these petals on both sides. So using the edge of your hand, just go around, press it really firmly down. Okay, like that. Then flip it over and do exactly the same on the other side. All the way around. Okay, till it's all done. Fantastic, and it's done on both sides now. So decide which side you want to use. If you've got a favourite side, they're both quite similar. I'm going to go for this one. What you need to do now, we're going to bring these petals up onto the cone to meet it. So we're going to put some glue in the centre and then put some glue about halfway up each of the petals. Okay, like so. That's it. Now take your bud, put this straight through the middle, bring it up. And where you've got a bit of a join, you don't want to put that straight on top of another petal because it doesn't really add anything. So here, if you just glue this from the bottom, stick it, and then miss a petal, glue another one. Miss a petal, glue one. You're back to this petal now, so glue this one in place. You might have to tuck these in a little bit. And then this one, you'll definitely have to tuck 2 of the petals in to get that to glue. Okay, and you're just concerned with really touching the bottom of the flower all the way around to get it to stick. Okay, like that. If it starts to come open in the centre at all, just press the petals down. That's it. Just go around and make sure that's stuck. Fabulous, and you get to something like this. Again, put a hook, dry it upside down, so you've got them drying here, okay? We're going to put another layer on that now. Like this. I'm just going to use the same size cutter again, okay? Again, press down, rotate it, get a really good slide, backwards and forwards. And onto your flower pad ready for veining. Right, so this time, this is the peony that I've just done with the middle and 1 layer. And I would basically leave that to dry in between each layer for about 20 minutes, okay? So here is the one that I did just before the film, and this has now had the middle layer and 2 outer layers added to it. So this is the one I'm going to build up from, because this has been drying for 20 minutes. And can you see that if I just hold it and let go of the, so it's not hanging upside down, the petals have dried enough to not flop downwards because they've been drying upside down, okay? And that's what you want. But they're still nice and open, okay? Right, so again, take your all-in-one peony, press down hard and vein it, and again, and go all the way around till it's all veined, and flip it over and do exactly the same again. Fabulous. Decide which side you want to use. Either side, it doesn't matter. And again, if you put some glue in the centre and halfway up the petal, like so, and then take your peony, go straight through the middle and bring this up. This time I'm going to flip it over like that so the petals fall. Okay, and as I turn that back over, I'm going to show you what happens. If you imagine the way this is going to dry now, you can see that each time they dry, those petals, because I'm going to dry this upside down, they'll dry a little bit more outwards, and that's how you're going to build up your layers. Okay, so just arrange them, that's pretty good. And have a look, if you hold it upside down and have a look at it from upside down, you can decide if they're in the right place. So now I'm going to hang that back on the dryer to dry. And I'm going to add one more layer to this straight away, and then I'm going to wait 20 minutes again. Okay, and I'll show you. Okay, using this side again. Okay, push down, vein again. And the other side again. It's just so quick to do all the way around instead of cutting the individual petals. Okay, so exactly as I did before, I'm going to add some glue to the middle and halfway up the petals. And you never need to soak it with glue because the glue does weaken the petals a little bit. You don't want to make them too weak. Okay, so this peony is getting heavy now, so straight through the middle again. That's it. And decide where you want the peonies to fall. So can you see by holding it like this, you can see that when you turn it upside down, that's where the peonies, petals are going to fall down. Okay, you can turn it upside down again, and you need to hold it up and you can have a look underneath. Okay, but at this stage, when I've got 4 layers on here, obviously if I dried it up this way, the petals will fall down, so it needs to be hung upside down. I'm going to leave that to dry for another 20 minutes and then come back to it and add another layer or 2, and I'll show you how it will look at the end. Okay. Okay, so now we're up to 3 layers on our peony, and the second and third layer I let dry for about 15 minutes, and as you know, florist paste dries quite quickly. And this is what happens, it dries, but because it's quite wide at the base, it dries quite nice and openly as well, so you do get quite a nice open peony. I'm going to add another 2 layers to this now. Okay, so let's hang that upside down for now. This time I'm going to use the largest peony cutter. Okay, so let's take my florist paste. Again, roll it out. see if this will fit. No, a bit wider. Okay, perfect. Press down again really hard and rotate it. Okay, fabulous. And take your flower forming pad. If you've got any raggy edges, you can just pull them off or tuck them in. You don't like them. Again, take your flower veiner, exactly the same as before. Put each petal on and just really press down hard with the side of your hand, go all the way round. Get a lovely deep vein in there. Okay. One. Okay. That's it. And I'm going to turn it over and do exactly the same on the other side. That's it, fabulous. Again, decide which side you want to glue. Okay, they're both quite similar. Some glue in the middle and then halfway up the petal, like so. Then take your flower that's been drying upside down, which now looks like this. Put it straight through the middle. Then turn it upside down and let that flop down. And just have a look at it, but if you look at it from this angle, once that next layer has dried, that's going to look like that and going to be nice and open. Okay, so again, if you just dry this upside down and you leave this to dry for about 15 minutes before you put your next layer on. Okay, so I'm going to turn this upside down again onto the flower dryer and hang this upside down. So as you can see, as long as you've got your wire into your comb properly, this is not going to fall off and go anywhere, and you need something quite sturdy and quite deep because this becomes quite a big flower. Okay, so we're going to leave that for 15 to 20 minutes to dry and then add the very final layer, which is going to be one last layer of the large peony cutter. Okay, now we come to your very last layer for your beautiful large peony. So we're just going to roll out the paste like so. And we're going to use the largest peony cutter from the set. Let's see if this fits. Okay, fab, it's going to fit. And again, just cut and rotate it. Move it onto your flower forming pad. And using your petal veiner, you can just go all the way around and vein it again, like so. And turn it over and do the other side again. Just that one to do. Right, so it's just really quick and easy. Okay, I'm going to put some glue in the centre of this and then halfway up the petals again. Take your large peony with the wire attached, go straight through the middle and bring it up. And if you flip that over and just let the petals fall, and then you can turn it over and you can decide where to place them. You can actually move them around a little bit. Okay, so as that dries, you can see that it's going to add another layer to your peony. So I'm going to dry this upside down again, and this is my last layer for the peony. So once it's dried, it's going to look like that, and so you've got a beautiful large open peony. You can add as many layers as you like. You can dry this if you want to flat, and so the last layers fall down a little bit like that, but I'm going to dry this one upside down, and this is what you'll end up with. So have fun making it. Remember, you can just make your buds this way, or a really large peony, make them as large as small in any colour, but you know, enjoy. Okay, bye.